And if it comes looking, some fast with a bullet, I've kept my secrets. I want revenge is coming. Till I can't no more. I knew to stop it.
11 years after the Burma incident, John Rambo now lives in Arizona, taking care of his late father's ranch. His life looks quiet and isolated. In his room, we see all the weapons from his past battles, carefully stored like memories he cannot erase. We also see the knife he forged for his fight in Burma, a symbol of who he used to be. Later, John rides horses across the land. It seems he breaks and trains them as part of his daily routine. After that, we meet Maria, an old friend of John. He asks about a girl named Gabriella, but Maria tells him she is with her friend Antonia. Hours later, John goes to check the tunnels under the ranch. Clarification. It seems John built these tunnels himself. We do not know the exact reason. What we do know is that he prefers to live there, underground and alone. While inspecting them, memories from the war start to haunt him. Later, John is forging knives. Here we meet Gabriella, Maria's granddaughter. She is very dear to John and clearly trusts him. She tells him she wants to talk about her life. She mentions she plans to go to college, but does not know what path to choose. It feels strange that she asks John for advice, since he knows nothing about college. But he is a certified expert in surviving violence and eliminating bad people. Before leaving, Gabriella says she is going to a party. John does not want her far from home. He tells her to invite her friends to the ranch instead. She says, no, nothing will happen. John notices she is lying and suggests she have the party in the tunnels where he lives. Gabriella likes the idea right away. A risky idea, but creative. That night, Gabriella's friends enjoy the party inside the tunnels. The place fills with music and noise. Minutes later, Gabriella gets a phone call that clearly worries her. Hours later, when the party ends, Gabriella tells John she wants to go to Mexico. Her friend, the one who called earlier, claims she found Gabriella's father. Gabriella wants answers. John tells her there is no reason for a man to abandon his family. He speaks from experience. If you have family, do not abandon them. Do not listen to me. Listen to John Rambo. As the conversation continues, Gabriella says her father suddenly changed. John tells her men like that do not change. She replies, but uncle, you changed. John admits he did not really change. He just tries to control himself every day. So John Rambo is holding back his urge to kill people. That says a lot about his inner struggle. John tells Gabriella he loves her like a daughter. He promises he will not allow her father or anyone else to hurt her. Gabriella seems to accept his words and leaves. The next day, John hears Gabriella arguing with Maria. When he steps in, Gabriella insists again on meeting her father. Here Maria reveals two important facts. First, Gabriella's mother died of cancer and her father abandoned them without looking back. Second, John raised Gabriella as if she were his own daughter. Now it is clear why John cares so deeply about her. After the argument, Gabriella says she is going to her friend's house. On the road, she changes direction and secretly decides to go to Mexico. A couple of hours after crossing the Mexican border, she arrives at her friend's house. We meet Giselle, the girl who called her in the tunnels with information about her father. Something about her feels off. Giselle tells Gabriella she will take her to her father later. First, she wants to drink and relax. At night, Gabriella knocks on a door and a woman answers. She realizes she made a mistake. The man already has another family. Gabriella awkwardly asks why he abandoned her. The man coldly says he wasted his time with her mother. He adds that he never loved them. That cruelty crushes her. Gabriella leaves in tears. Outside, she plans to return home, but Giselle stops her and takes her to a club to help her forget everything. Inside, Gabriella meets a man called El Flaco. He offers her drinks. We clearly see him drop a substance into her glass. That decision seals her fate. The night ends there. The next morning, Maria goes to John and tells him Gabriella never went to her friend's house. Giselle called and said that after taking Gabriella to her father's place, she lost contact with her. John understands something is very wrong and immediately heads to Mexico. That night, we meet Victor Martinez. Gabriella is not the only one kidnapped. Several other women are trapped there as well. Victor threatens them with violence. If they try to escape, he promises to hunt them down. Meanwhile, John arrives in Mexico and looks for Gabriella's father. The man claims she is not there and slams the door in John's face. This guy has no idea who he just angered. And an enraged John tells him, "I should have snapped your damn neck 10 years ago." When he realizes the man truly knows nothing about her, he turns away and leaves. Minutes later, John goes looking for Giselle. When he finds her, he starts questioning her directly. She claims she took Gabriella to a club and never saw her again. However, during the phone call with Maria, she said she left Gabriella with her father. John notices the story does not match. Then he sees Gabriella's bracelet on Giselle's wrist. He grabs her arm and immediately understands she betrayed her. John threatens her and orders her to take him to the last place they were together. If she refuses, he will kill her without hesitation. Giselle takes John to the club and points out El Flaco, saying she left Gabriella with him that night. Now John knows who his target is. He lets Giselle go and shifts his full attention to El Flaco. At the same time, we see a woman quietly watching John from a distance, clearly suspicious of what is happening. Hours later, El Flaco leaves the club with a girl. When he is about to take advantage of her, John suddenly appears. John shows no hesitation at all. He stabs El Flaco in the leg right there in the street and shows him a photo of Gabriella, demanding to know where she is. When El Flaco refuses to talk, John breaks his collarbone without mercy. After torturing him further, El Flaco finally agrees to take him to where Gabriella is being held. When they arrive, El Flaco points out the location. John sees he is in extreme pain, knocks him out, and moves on alone. As John approaches the place, one of the guards notices him and alerts the others about an intruder. More men arrive and slowly surround him from all sides. With no escape, John is captured and taken to Victor and his brother Hugo. They are known as the Martinez brothers, feared across the area. They take away John's weapons and belongings. Victor explains that Gabriella is one of their victims and speaks with total cruelty. Even when John barely moves, his presence makes everyone nervous. Victor even admits that John scared him for a moment. Then the men brutally beat John until he can barely stand. After a long beating, John, barely conscious, tells them to let Gabriella go and that it will end there. Otherwise, he promises he will come for them all. Before leaving, Hugo tells John he will let him live so he can suffer, imagining what Gabriella is going through. Victor orders Hugo to kill him, but Hugo decides instead to mark John like cattle, leaving him alive and broken. After they leave, we remember the woman who followed John at the club. Her name is Carmen. She is an independent journalist. She witnessed everything and decides to take John to her home. A doctor treats John for his injuries. For days later, Carmen returns and finds John mostly recovered, sitting in silence. She wants answers. She tells him everything she knows. The men he met are the Martinez brothers, the main cartel leaders in the area. They control many places and are extremely dangerous. She also reveals that her sister was one of their victims. John asks for her help and demands to know where Gabriella is. Carmen agrees to help him. That night, we see John enter a brothel. It feels unexpected at first. But this place is actually the address Carmen gave him. It is also controlled by the Martinez brothers. John kills everyone inside without mercy and finally finds Gabriella. She is severely drugged and barely conscious. That is not the worst part. They also branded her face, just like they branded John earlier. After rescuing her, John drives back to his ranch with Gabriella in the passenger seat. He tells her not to fall asleep and that they are almost home. Gabriella apologizes to John through weak breaths. He tells her it is not her fault. He explains that when he returned from Burma, he was a lost man. Meeting her changed his life completely. Raising her was the best thing that ever happened to him. Minutes later, Gabriella dies in his arms. The next morning, John goes with Maria to tell her what happened. She chooses to stay with her granddaughter one last time. They bury Gabriella near the ranch, the only place she ever called home. Later that day, John tells Maria to go stay with her sister, because there is nothing left for her at the ranch. Before leaving, Maria tells John that without Gabriella, she feels as if her heart has been torn out. She walks away in silence. Minutes later, we see John begin to plan his revenge. He builds traps, prepares weapons, studies the land, and slowly turns his ranch into a battlefield. A few days later, John returns to Mexico to ask Carmen for help. He tells her that Gabriella is dead. Carmen tells him to cry and forget everything. John looks at her and asks, "Have you done that?" Carmen admits she has not. John then says he wants revenge. He wants them to know death is near. He wants them to feel that not even God can save them. He wants them to feel the same pain Carmen and Maria felt, the kind that never fades. Carmen finally agrees to help him. She gives him Victor's address and warns him about the guards. Minutes later, John reaches Victor's house. It is surrounded by armed men and high walls. The place looks more like a prison than a home. John moves silently. He kills the guards one by one with his knife, dragging their bodies into the shadows until he reaches Victor inside. The next day, police officers and reporters surround Victor's house. Sirens echo through the street. Hugo arrives and forces his way inside. He finds his brother decapitated. A knife is stuck in Victor's chest. Next to him is a photo of Gabriella with a message that says, "Now you know who I am." Rage takes over Hugo. Hours later, he gathers his men and prepares to hunt John down. The next morning, John stands at Gabriella's grave. He speaks to her quietly. At the same time, Hugo and his men approach the ranch. John is already waiting. As soon as they enter, they trigger his traps. Explosions and spikes slow them down, so they continue on foot. John kills them one by one, every minute adding more fear. When the survivors realize John is underground, they follow him into the tunnels. Inside, Hugo's men fall into trap after trap. Blades, fire, and darkness surround them. The tunnels feel like a nightmare. It feels more like a horror movie than an action film. After killing all of Hugo's men, John is badly wounded and bleeding heavily. Using a megaphone, he speaks to Hugo. He tells him he wants him to feel his rage and hatred. He promises to tear his heart out, just like they tore John's heart out when they killed Gabriella. John then activates a bomb to destroy the tunnels. He tells Hugo, "If you want to live, follow the light." The tunnels collapse behind them. Dust fills the air. Hugo barely makes it out alive. Moments later, John appears. He surprises Hugo and disables him with his bow, breaking his arms and legs. Hugo screams in pain. John walks toward him slowly, pulls out his knife, and says, "This is what it feels like." He stabs him in the chest, cuts him open, and rips out his heart. With that, the Martinez brothers' cartel ends. Wounded and exhausted, John drags a chair and sits down. He reflects on his life. He says he has lived in a world of death. He says he tried to come back home, but never fully returned. He says everyone he loved is now a ghost that follows him. He promises to keep fighting to keep their memories alive, no matter the cost. That is not the real ending. In the final scene, John mounts his horse and rides away. He heads toward an unknown destination, alone, leaving his past behind as the road stretches forward, and with that the story ends here. Rambo: Last Blood shows that violence leaves deep scars and never truly brings peace. Love for family gives life meaning, but revenge only leads to more loss. The movie reminds us that holding on to anger can destroy everything we try to protect.
Ride till I can't no more.
And if it comes looking, some fast with a bullet. I've kept my secrets. I want revenge.